All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of our podcast. Today, I'm joined with Mike Begg from AMZ Advisors. Mike, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Argan. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. Where are you based out of currently?
So I'm based out of Guadalajara, Mexico. I've actually lived here for almost 5 years to the date.
Wow.
So I've been down here for a while.
Wow. And last time we spoke, you mentioned you have your team there and basically all the operations running out of there, right?
Yeah, the majority of our team is based here in Mexico in general, with Guadalajara being our HQ down here. And then we have team members in Mexico City, Monterrey, Chihuahua, Tijuana, Merida, Cancun, literally all over the place. So
Nice. The wonders of an internet business where people can be anywhere, but still focused and getting shit done.
exactly.
So tell us a little bit about your background, AMZ Advisors. Who's Mike? How did you get into this, and where are you at now?
It's been a long journey, I'll say that much. So originally I started in consulting, then I moved into actual real estate development. So that was kind of a weird way to end up in marketing. But what I was working in was retail. So what I was working for Sears, and I was redeveloping Sears stores. And during that time, I saw one thing, the writing on the wall that Sears was going down, and that e-commerce was, continuing to rise and getting more popular. So at that point, myself, my two partners, we decided that we try selling products online. So we started a couple brands, sold them on Amazon. We built a art supply brand, and then we built a sporting goods brand, started selling those. And especially with the art supply brand, we realized that most brands, most big companies didn't know what they were doing on Amazon. So, I mean, we were competing as an art supply brand with Crayola. And, in some categories, we were crushing Crayola. And it was interesting to us at that point. We were like, wow, they really don't know. And then that's kind of where the idea of an agency came from, to actually support these businesses to do better. So that's kind of how we got started with the idea. And, since then we've scaled, we continue to scale up. We manage about 60 clients a month right now. In total, we've handled about 300 different brands over the course of 7 years. So yeah, I mean, we've grown from essentially nothing, bootstrapped it, and got to the point where we are now. So
Sure, I love that, and I love how you mentioned the big brands. Sometimes when you're starting out or you've started a business and you have the product selling, there's always that behind the back thought of, I can never compete with the big guys. Are you? What year was that where you guys are seeing, man, Crayola has no idea what they're doing on Amazon? Just for context.
That was like 2014, 2015.
14. Okay. So again, maybe some people are thinking, well, yeah, Mike, that was wild, wild west days of Amazon. People didn't know. I still think there's those opportunities today with different channels that those big brands don't know. Are you guys still seeing that today? And what are some of those levers that the smaller guys can pull to compete?
For sure. I mean, there's definitely opportunities like that. They exist all over the place, and not just for goods businesses. It exists for service businesses as well. It just really is about finding the right opportunity. When you're a small brand, the inherent advantage you have over a big company is that you can move a lot faster. You can focus a lot more on niches or specific things that are going to lead to more success than a bigger company is going to dedicate time and resources to. And it's also going to be harder for a bigger company to make the decisions to do on that. So for us, when we're talking about Amazon, we see a lot of opportunity in the foreign marketplaces outside of the U.S. So we have a big presence here in Latin America. We see a big opportunity for brands, and we're helping more and more brands into Latin America. So that's a big focus for us. Same thing exists in Asia. Outside of Amazon, I mean, there's a lot of other ways to drive traffic. I mean, TikTok is still pretty cheap from an advertising platform. If you have a good product or are launching a good product and get some influencers to review the product, create some content, you can immediately start creating some ads to drive traffic wherever you want. And then also, like I mentioned, with a service business for like an agency, for example, or a consulting business, we compete against some massive agencies, advertising agencies that are doing hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And because we are so focused in a specific niche, we're able to do a better job than they are, because we know this like the back of our hand. Like, no one understands how to do things on Amazon like we do. They can pay for all the talent they want, But unless they're giving them the free reign to test new things, to work with the clients so closely on these strategies and figure out what works and what doesn't, they're not going to get the same results that we can.
I like that. On that topic, with the brands that you guys are working with and the products on Amazon, is the focus more holistic in setting that brand either on the foreign marketplaces, getting their social strategy squared away, the way they communicate to their audience, or is it, okay, let's focus on the foreign marketplace for this brand? They might not need TikTok or social.
Yeah.
So is it more like this, we see this strategy, this one strategy working for this product and let's double down on it? Or is it more holistic across each brand?
The way that we approach it, I would say, is more holistic. We try to figure out where the brands are doing well, where they're not doing well, where they could be doing better, and where the opportunities are. And we go through that process with every single brand that we work with. The main thing that we notice on the US is most of the time, their brand representation is poor, or their sales funnel is leaking, or not doing enough to try to acquire new customers and really leverage that. But when we start looking at the like expansion opportunities, whether it be Europe, Latin America, Asia, wherever they're trying to go, or wherever we think is the best fit for them, we're just looking at what the competition level is, what the demand level is, how difficult it is to get into those, because that's one of the biggest hurdles, is just the barriers to entry. So figuring out something hard can actually be an advantage for a brand if they're one of the first ones to do it. It doesn't, we actually like embrace challenges, and like when something's really hard, that means that we think there's a better opportunity there.
Yeah, I like that. And again, goes back to those big brands are already established in their world. They're not even seeing, they might not even be seeing what's happening on Amazon, and TikTok. They'll get to it way later, but those fast movers, as a small brand, you can just tackle things that are coming up. So I really like that.
Yeah.
Kind of switching gears with your guys's agency as a organization. You guys have many employees and many clients. What's kind of your vision and purpose for existing? Obviously, outside of helping clients make sales and work on their branding and all that, is there a bigger purpose to the organization?
Yes and no. I mean, I think from a certain standpoint, it's like, yes, it's that simple, that we're just trying to help brands, be more successful. But the biggest thing for us is that by being so hands-on in the e-commerce space, we're learning more and more ourselves that we can leverage for other opportunities. So outside of what we have right now, a big project that we're working on is actually becoming one of the leading e-commerce companies in Latin America. And we have an entire game plan that we're working on there and starting to implement and really starting to gain traction. So for us, it's awesome to be able to bring e-commerce to Latin America, because so many other foreign companies are not focused on Latin America. They're not spending the time, they're not investing the money because of different obstacles and different challenges. And we are. So we're going to be solving a lot of these problems that most brands need to solve to get in there. And then, the idea is that we're going to help them. At the same time, it creates a lot of great opportunities for jobs for a lot of people in Latin America, which is really important for us. I mean, able to build a team out down here is as big as we have is pretty awesome. I don't think we would have been able to achieve that. And at the same time, there's not a lot of that are focused in those types of fields in Latin America. So we're also educating, we're creating new opportunities, and we're creating, in our opinion, like better work opportunities for a lot of people in Latin America that have the same exposure to, a services job in the US may have.
US. Yeah, that's amazing that you went there. And I'm glad you did, because I think 2 days ago I was reading an e-commerce report, a 120-page report on Armenia, my country, and I was mind blown by the infrastructure that they don't have over there for e-commerce to flourish. Transportation, the border, internet use, a lot of stuff that we take for granted here, even on the legal side, and even with something as established as Latin America, South America, I'm sure a lot of those stuff are still missing. That's why Amazon's going heavy, Mercado Libre. So I'm really happy you said that, and you guys are helping the internet move forward. That's like that bigger purpose now that I'm hearing that.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any end to that. So it's there's
No.
going to be more and more layers.
No, there's always new opportunities, and that's like part of what comes with just learning how things work in different places, or where there's gaps, or what challenges people are having, and then figuring out what the solution is. Because there's always going to be problems, there's always going to be challenges, and if you're good enough to figure out the solutions to help them, you're always going to be in business, or you're always going to have some opportunity for yourself. So
Yeah, and I guess the entire team knowing that main goal, so that they're rowing in the same direction and going, instead of everyone, oh no, this is a priority or that's a priority. So I really like that. What's your guys's goal as a company for the next year? Obviously, it's a weird time. Seems like things are kind of stagnating, but I think there's going to be another bump. What are you guys discussing internally for the next year, and how is it going to plan out?
I mean, internally, we can't anticipate what's going to happen externally. We can't anticipate how the market's going to change, how the economy is going to change. All we can focus on is on what we can do better, and the things that we're on is just improving our internal operations and the actual deliverables that we get to clients, and the way that we manage our clients. Instead of being myself as a founder and my two other founders more hands-on, we're looking at putting the right people in place to help us manage this and help build better operations that allow us to scale even further, and allow us to focus on the areas where we're really good. Like, I'm very strong in strategy. I have another partner that's very strong in sales, another partner that's very strong in operations. So allowing us to focus in those different areas is going to give us the opportunity to continue to grow the business, grow in different directions, and find new opportunities for us. So that's probably the focus on the next 12 months. I mean, taking us more out of the day-to-day stuff, so we can focus on more higher level stuff as a business. And then from the client side, on what we're actually doing for our clients, the biggest focus is we want to try getting more and more people onto the Amazon DSP platform, because DSP is a super powerful advertising platform that's just getting more and more scalable for brands that are doing well on Amazon, or that are looking to acquire more customers, or even retarget existing customers. DSP is like probably one of the best ad platforms out there.
Interesting. Yeah, we've been testing that recently. It's been a little wonky, but yeah, I think we might need some guidance on that. Maybe I'll reach out to you for that.
For sure. Always glad.
Going back to someone maybe that's early in their journey on Amazon, and maybe they don't know the direction, they don't know what the high level stuff that you guys know as an agency. What are the 3 to 5 or the core essential things that they need in order to maybe not have a super successful high 7-8 figure business, but just get this ball rolling where it's consistent, and now they can kind of make decisions? What are those core things needed?
So I think one of the things that is different from when I started selling in 2014, 2015 is that it is so competitive now. So, I mean, the way that we talk about it is almost like using like guerrilla tactics. Like, how can you undermine the competition that's already established in these niches? And I think the first things are obviously having incredible content and great SEO. And then the biggest thing is attacking the keywords that your top competitors aren't focused on or aren't ranking on as well. So that's going to give you new opportunities for advertising on keywords that are probably less expensive. It's going to give you the opportunity to start ranking better for other search terms and becoming more and more relevant for your competitors' top search terms. So it starts from the bottom, and like, this is the way I always talk about it, is like building the funnel. Literally start from the bottom, make your content great, make your listings great. Start trying to focus on converting keywords or keywords that are going to convert very well for you. Start ranking for those. Take it up a step. Start trying to convert for other keywords. Take it up a step. Try to get to other brands other customers in market trying to consider your product. So targeting other similar products with product targeting ads, and then beyond their awareness. So it's really, like I said, guerrilla tactics. Undermine what the competition's doing or where the competition is not focused, and you'll start seeing some more success that way.
Interesting. And I guess in order to do all of that, you would have to be good at reading the market as a whole and the data that Amazon provides for whatever market that you're in.
Yeah, using data is probably going to be the key to everything there. Whether it's with a third-party tool like we use OnGuru and Helium 10, Jungle Scout's another good one. You really need to be very analytical, really be able to dive in and just be like, all right, I'm gonna find out these opportunities and then I'm gonna take advantage of them. It's the mentality you have to have and the time you have to dedicate to it.
Okay, I like that. You mentioned your like high skill in your agency, but I want to kind of touch on this again. What would you say is your superpower in e-commerce?
Me personally, I think it's just my desire to learn. Literally, I consume all different types of content on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, wherever I can find people that are talking about things that are interesting to me. And also just talking to companies and hearing what they're trying to do, what the problems are, what they're seeing, talking with partners, where they're focused, what their clients are seeing. All of this is just informing me more on how the market's changing or where there's potentially new opportunities. I think the ability to really learn and hear what's out there and ask the questions to get the right answers from everybody is probably the biggest superpower that I have. And, from what I'm doing within my business, it's probably the most valuable thing.
I like that. I guess if it's one word, you can summarize that. It's the curiosity, and that just keeps pulling you in. And,
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Definitely resonate with that. Well, this has been wonderful, very concise. How can people connect with you if they have questions? We've touched up on so much, and obviously this is a quick introductory podcast. We can go into details on all of this stuff, but if they have questions on DSP, PPC, keyword ranking, data, TikTok, how can they connect with you? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
The three best ways to get in touch with me is, emailing me, Mike@amzadvisers.com. That is probably the most direct way to reach me. Other ways you can reach me is on LinkedIn or Twitter. I'm starting to publish more and more content on there and starting to put out more content. So you can either learn from me or you can just ask me questions directly on there and I'll be glad to answer anything. So.
Nice. Wonderful. Well, I'll leave your email, those socials in the description. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Argan.